Hello, so I've got about half an hour to for this video because the sun is setting and it's cold and it's 4:30 and at 5 it'll be very dark. How are you all? I haven't really spoken to anyone since ever. I really do need to talking to people, I guess. I don't know if it makes me feel better. It doesn't because yesterday I went for a walk and I came back and there was this giant rat like this big dead in front of the parking space and in the parking ramp, and like its guts was like hanging out already, like out from the entrail was out of his body or its body. And I was like, oh my God, I feel really like conflicted because at the same time, I feel like they're being labeled as pests, which they are, and I don't want them in my living dwelling whatsoever. And I had, like, when I was growing up, my home had a lot of rats, so I know how troublesome they can be. And I remember like having like rats poops everywhere at home, like when I was growing up. So it's a past thing, like for sure it's a problem. So, but at the same time, and I was looking at it dead, like very cruelly, like that, with its entrail basically hanging out. I was like, oh, I feel so sad, like it's dead. And at the same time, I also know the conflicting aspect, which was like, I basically, probably personally, when I was a kid, have put out like rat poison to make sure they're dead, So my head is having a dissonance experience where I feel really sad for the rats that had died in on the driveway, but at the same time participating in the rat's death when I was younger. That's what happened yesterday. I don't know what to make out of it. I don't know what to make out of that experience, to be honest. I don't know what's not. Oh, someone's making a phone call downstairs, I think. Um, so I'm like, what do I want for that rat to? What am I wishing for that rat to stay alive? And I don't know. I mean, like, of course, it's the survival of the fittest out there, and we are part of nature and everything. My first thought was actually, oh, is a cat? Did the cat get them? Because I found a stray cat recently in near the garden, and I haven't met him again afterwards, or it. Oh, I don't know whether it's a she or he. Um, and it's a stray, and I didn't know what to do with it because at that time I wanted to take them in, but I didn't know like the procedure of like I wasn't prepared to fully take them in because I feel if I do, that means I have to be fully responsible for the cat, meaning like I have to actually shelf out like $1,000 worth of medical costs for the vet and registration and the whole lot. And I don't have $1,000 any at all. And I feel like even if I do, I'll probably have to buy a new fridge. But at the same time, I don't want it to be out there in the cold because it's winter and stuff. And I also like it actually heightens my fear for them because I saw today nearby suburbs where someone basically put out bait and basically, those bear traps, the one that traps bears and actually traps the um, animals. And one of the cat basically not from around here but like a little bit up north, south, a bit down south, they basically trapped the cat with one of those really cruel traps, and I think like it broke the bones of the cat, like the paws or whatever. And it's posted on the Facebook page, of course, because Facebook page is basically just emotional drainage, black hole at this point, to be honest. And yeah, so I'm like, oh, there are really cruel people out there, but at the same time I'm like, but you know, so I don't want them to get trapped like that or suffer too much. Even like if I know, like I actually thought about this. Like I don't know why if they get into a kill shelter, for example, because some of the shelters are kill shelters. So if they don't get adopted, they're gonna get killed. At least, like the word "kill," I guess is a bit strong. Like they would euthanize her. I think that or her or him it basically it's not as cruel, I think, because you're basically putting him down like with drugs, so they would actually get sedated and eventually kind of slow their heart rate down, and and eventually dies. I feel like it's a peaceful way out. It's a different, I have much more issues with, of course, that's not the ideal solution or ideal outcome for sure, but that's like less than, for me anyway, personally. And I know some people would think, no, like losing a leg is better than death. There's a lot of people that are like that. I'm not one of those people. If I go into vegetable condition, like if I get like a paralyzed of my body or whatever, I would prefer euthanasia. That's a personal preference, but some people are not. Some people have their support systems, have a life that they enjoy, have a lot of resources in their beckonings, and they think like life is still better than death, and that's respectable position to be in. I'm not one of those people. So for me, like a life of suffering is a lot less desired than a peaceful death. So at least like in my head, like I'm not trying to get the cat into a peaceful death situation. I'm trying to get the cat to a loving home, to be honest. But I also want the cat to have like a vet, a proper taken care of, like into a vet, like health wise and stuff, which is a lot because I don't even take care of myself. I'm one of those people that I think if I have to choose between feeding my animals or feeding myself, I would feed my animals, which is probably bad. But that's the side of like responsibility that I feel attached when you adopt something, because you don't want to have something, you know, say with empty words like, oh, I'm gonna take care of you, blah blah blah, and then not ending up. Maybe I'm projecting a lot, but that matters, I guess. But at the same time, after I posted it on Facebook, like, oh, I found this stray and stuff, um, uh, a person basically said like, oh, tell me where you saw it, and then tell me or connect me with the person that you talked to about like this stray cat, because I talked to someone, and then that someone basically said like a bunch of people are kind of taking turns feeding it. So it's like a community stray cat that people don't adopt but like feeding. So, and its coat was still, it's a tuxedo cat, so its coat was shining. So I guess I know at least it's eating well. Um, and it was really friendly. So even though it's a stray, it probably has been dumped by someone because it was really friendly, and it rubbed its head against my hand straight away, and then rubbed its belly, like when they do the curve, and then just wrapped and then rub itself against your legs. It's like that. So, and then that was our first encounter with each other. So that was like very friendly. So we know like it's a stray, but it was dumped. So it's not a feral cat. So with stray domesticated, it's not really safe to be out there. What I have learned basically ever since I met the stray, because when we dig a hole to find things, it's just like that rabbit hole goes really deep. Um, but like yeah, the lady basically said, hey, if when you find it again, when you see it again, you should tell me about it, or connect me with the guy that you talked to about the feeding of the cat, so I can basically know where it is. I want to take him to the vet, get him microchipped, or like check for the microchip and D-sex and stuff, or get it rehomed and stuff. But at the same time, I was like, when I saw that, I realized, oh, okay, I don't have to take the whole load myself, the whole responsibility myself. I can just do my bit, or the bit that I can do, and pass it on. And also saw like an adopt a stray type of program where you basically can pay $100. It is you have to qualify for this. I don't know if I qualify for this. And so I mean, like $100 is a lot for me. I feel like so pathetic at 42 years old, like saying $100 is a lot. But it is kind of doable. I can probably just go without a meal for I can reduce stuff for a whole month, for example. That's okay. I can skip 2 vlogs because if I don't have money, I can't do anything with the vlogs. I can't go out and I can't eat, so I'm just gonna be staying in bed. But that's okay. Um, at least the vlog can get some cat time if that happens. It's a fantasy right now. I haven't seen the cat anymore. Again, since then, like it's been a while, maybe a week or two now. So it probably just a one time encounter. Um, but yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, I mean, and I realized like, oh, when I saw that message from this lady, I realized, okay, I don't have to do everything alone in this particular problem anyway. So I went to search for it again just to capture it basically, but I haven't seen him again. The guy was a bit suspicious of me, like, why? Don't report him. Like, or don't report it. I'm like, I'm not going to report it. I just want to make sure it's all right because it's winter and everything. But anyway, maybe talking about this will lure them out. I was like, okay, so my connection with the cat was, I thought maybe like the cat thought that, the people who were kind live around here so that it would kill the rat as an offering for people who fed them. Like, I'm not one of them because I only gave it treat once, but the guy that feed it one of the rotation, like feed it, is also live in the same complex as we do, as I do. So maybe they thought, this is an offering for the guy who feeds me. Because I saw on Facebook. Yes, I feel like I'm becoming a boomer because now I'm on Facebook a lot. Because on Facebook, there is a stray cat that been giving an offering of dead birds to this lady, and this lady basically said, okay, well, I think I should take you in and then get you rehomed to an adopter and stuff so that you don't keep killing wildlife. In this case, like the rat is wildlife, but I don't think it's wildlife that people actually care about, which is, of course, I am acknowledging the hypocrisy of things. Because like as humans, we pick and choose which animal we think is worthy of our humanity and ones that don't. And I think that's the only thing that is um that's separating us, saying, seeing a dead rat with its guts out basically, and not crying about it and not thinking that is such a cruel thing to happen, is because we think that rats are pests and we deserve to die. And it's the same with pigeons as well because it's damaging properties and stuff. But cats and dogs are because we are so ingrained and brainwashed into our head that there are companions, they're an extension of human life, basically a part of our circle of humanity, that if you touch them, if you treat them like any other animals outside the boundaries of these domesticated animals, we treat them as they're cruel and stuff. So, and yet we have a dairy industry, we have slaughtering industry, basically, because I like meat, I like chicken, I like duck, I like lamb, I like cow, like beef. So I also am a hypocrite, I guess, in this regards. So I don't have solutions. I'm just talking out loud and thinking out loud. I'm trying to process my own dissonance. I'm trying to process my own like tension in myself thinking about this, Uh, because like I saw online, uh, there was this Chinese vlogger that basically he has or he had a border collie, which is a dog that got stolen and then got sold for a meat for $25, like $25 USD, I guess, and f- to be eaten, basically. So the dog was sold and cooked, basically, and he was crying and crying and crying, and which is bad, of course, because like for us it's basically like a member of our families being sold and cooked. It's like you can't imagine having a child and then that child is being sold and then for like $10 and then being cooked and being used as a meat, basically, in a noodle shop or something. um because that's the perception, I think. Like the dog is not a dog, it's a beloved pet, meaning like it's almost like a child, like you invest your whole emotion and affection into it and stuff. So it's not only animal to eat. But I think I saw one of the official government official was just saying, sorry that this happened to you, why don't I give you $60 for compensation and a new puppy. That's like their solution. Of course, like the whole animal lovers would definitely understand. It's like, yeah, like that's so callous. That's, like, and then also I understand there are also the other sides of things, which was it's just an animal, it's not actually your kid that died. So there is that separation, that tension between that group of people, I guess. I can feel both the tensions. I can understand it's like not just an animal. And when you say that it's just an animal, it makes like an animal's life worth less than a human being, which is a different philosophical questions again. Is it though? Um, why is it? Who said that it is? And that kind of thing. I kept saying like it's quite often I say this actually, like in the vlogs. If there is alien market out there that basically sell human meat like we sell animal meat, it would be very terrifying for human, right? They would just think, are you insane? This is the most horrific things. It's like if you see jack's uh hands and legs are being sold on the wet market, and they say like, oh, this human hands and legs for $10 for sale clearance. That would horrify everyone, but that's what we do. That's what humans do. Is like I saw pigs, hawks, which is basically their legs, being sold for like $4, $8 for like all the legs, which I am not trying to be patronizing, saying like this is bad. I'm not, because in Korean culture, those pig hawks are actually really good. It's a delicacy that being sold quite commonly in restaurants and in street food. It's great for your collagen, so that it will, so your skin will not be wrinkled as much. So it's pretty common. It's part of our food supplies, basically. But we also know that pigs are very smart and they have emotions and affections. And but I guess we just have to push it away and make it as if that it doesn't have any intelligence whatsoever, and it's just something that is used for our benefits. Which, of course, as I said, I'm being hypocritical about all of this because I like pork. I think pork is delicious. And I can't be vegetarian even if I wanted to, because if I were a vegetarian, which I kind of did for a long time, not because I was philosophically or like have a belief or so, it was just because I didn't I didn't want to, and I was just too lazy to eat. And then I ate again, like meat, and then I realized like my body got better a lot. My anxiety got better, my depression got better. I'm not saying I am better now. I'm just saying it got better. So before it was worse. And then I know like if I don't eat beef, for example, my I don't feel stable at all. Like the stability in my body would just be extremely heightened in the instability, and it would just create a huge amount of anxiety. So now, like if I have a huge amount of anxiety and distress, I would definitely try to eat like beef, like steak. It would help me ground myself a lot. Um, so that was what works for my body. I don't know. I feel like I'm just one person. I can't solve the problem of the world. I guess like if I think that the problem is the mass productions and mass waste. Because if we were still living in a tribal community, an animal gets slaughtered, it will get used from nose to tail. There is no a part of the animal that is going to be wasted, you know? So I think that's like part of the respect of when you're ending someone's an animal's life, a being's life, you use it to its all capacity because you don't want it the sacrifice to be wasted. And I guess there's a reason why it's called sacrifice, I suppose. And now it's not a sacrifice, it's in industry. It's basically a conveyor belt. There is no point of this talk, basically. I'm just talking. The sun is setting really soon and it's getting colder. As soon as the sun sets, it's like cold straight away, and you know that's how you know it's winter. Also, I think my thyroid is getting worse these days. Might be because you can see like the fold is getting worse. Yeah, you can see like no, that's not a fold. Is this a fold? Anyway, the laundry is done. So today's talk will end here because the sun is getting lower and more lower in the horizon, and it's not gonna be pretty when it's cold. I'll see you later. Thanks for listening to me rant about random things.